In the prime timeline, 1316 was a year of death. The Great Famine had turned Europe into a graveyard of desperation. But in Archive 029b, this year marked a tipping point in physics. In Essex, Christian street performers experimented with gravity to distract the starving. They were doing front flips, facing the light, and falling face first into divine mercy, bringing the blessings upon all. Among them was Johannes, a man who discovered that by swinging backwards, he could defy the natural law. He was the man who invented the backflip and kicked off a 50-year-long kinetic inquisition by the church that resulted in thousands of victims.
John wasn't a mage, but he discovered a null zone in the divine watch. At the apex of a flip, the flipper is inverted relative to the celestial poles. For 0.4 seconds, he ceased to exist in the eyes of physics and the eyes of God. The forward path is the only path to salvation. The Lord moves us toward the dawn, to rotate against the sun, to flip the body like a coin tossed by a demon, is to invite the abyss. When Johannes turned his back on the world, he turned his back on God. It is the sin of Lot's wife. The soul cannot stay anchored in a body that spins against the grain of the universe.
Johannes's rival, William Front Flip, was a symmetry zealot. He believed the face must always point toward the heavens. He became the church's lead prosecutor, developing the tools of kinetic orthodoxy.
This first device simply stopped the head from looking around, fixating the gaze on the path ahead. It was designed to keep the spirit locked on the New Jerusalem. But as John's influence grew, William's inventions became more invasive. This was William's masterpiece. It was a cage of rigidity. If the spine attempted to loop or incline backwards, the spikes ensured the heretic remained upright. It was the birth of biometric surveillance.
July 1316, the first public retro salto. The archive contains a series of woodcuts documenting the event, incidentally becoming the first animation in history. According to Chronicon Essexia, as soon as John began flipping backwards, the air groaned with a sound like tearing silk. The witnesses didn't cheer. They vomited at the sight of such sacrilege.
William and the church reached a verdict: execution by kinetic rectification. They cornered Johannes on the cliffs of Essex. But John didn't surrender. He performed one final violent backflip, reaching the 0.4-second window, and he simply never came back out. He vanished into thin air, leaving only a metallic smell and a displacement of air that hadn't settled in 8 centuries.
The site of that final flip is now a restricted military zone. Whistleblowers claim the government is conducting inversion experiments there. According to leaked tapes, the air John displaced 800 years ago is still swirling in a localized vacuum, and they are trying to find the door he used. After John vanished, he became a martyr. Retro cults emerged, trying to learn his supposedly heretic trick.
To deal with Johannes' followers, William Front Flip created his final invention, the spinal compass. It was distributed to village elders. If a person's spine showed even a slight retro inclination, implying they were practicing bending backwards, they were detained. They were detained. Detained.
Thousands were rectified, their tendons clipped to ensure they could only ever bend forward. After his last backflip, Johannes the Retro Salto was never seen again, but he didn't die. He is still trapped in that 0.4-second null zone. Have you ever felt a sudden, cold chill at the base of your neck when you lean back? That is John. He is still rotating in the dark behind us.